What's up, gang, and welcome back to another edition of Road Trippin' with the Rudes.
Hi, guys. And if this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much for doing so. Please be sure to subscribe. We'll have more heat coming your way. Hit that notification bell and like this video. If you've been riding with us all along, thank you so much. Please be sure to comment down below. We love interacting with everyone.
Yep.
And today we have the Rudes Real Review of
Raya and the Last Dragon.
If this is your first time tuning in to a Rudes Real Review, just so you know, we do not discuss anything during the movie. We wait until we're here with you. Now, full disclosure, I feel like me and Raya go back like babies and pacifiers. I've watched it twice already. So we watched it early in the morning, and then we watched it with Ella. So I've got a ton of notes, guys. Now, this is available on Disney Plus, but much like Mulan, there's a premium fee of $29.99. If you do not want to spend that, then it will be available on Disney Plus June 4th. But we can't wait.
Right.
This is a full-on spoiler. We are going to review the movie, and let's get started.
Okay.
All right, so guys, we'll run down kind of the movie and then give you our take on things. What did you think about the intro? The beginning of the movie.
What do you mean?
When she was going into the temple, what vibes was it giving you?
When she was going, Indiana Jones vibes.
It was giving me Indiana Jones vibes too.
Not
minus
me.
the theft.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. See, I've never seen Tomb Raider. FYI, guys, there are a lot of cult classics that I haven't seen. I know, shame on me.
I mean, it's not even that Tomb Raider's a cult classic. As a game, it's a great game.
Okay.
So that's the thing. The movie, it was okay. Angelina Jolie as Tomb Raider was good.
So, I mean, I thought it was like, I loved it. She was young, preteen, maybe, and she's going through this tunnel, and in front of her is a man with a mask who says, "You won't put your toe here," and in the center you see the dragon's gem. I will tell you, automatically I was drawn in by the colors and just the illustrations or the effects. It pulled me in very Coco-like.
Yeah. Well, let's give them the backstory on the gem, because why is she going after a gem?
Well, this is what I was going to say. It reminded me of the Moana, how her grandmother was telling kind of the origin story of the heart of Tafiti. In the beginning, it shows the river shaped like a dragon.
Yeah.
Right? And at the time, it was called Kamandra, was the full dragon.
Yep.
And she explains that she's kind of going back in time. So you first see her as an adult or like later teen, riding and, you know, kind of like, how did I get here thing. So it also gave me Cusco vibes.
Okay.
And she says, you know, Kamandra was all one piece. The Droons came in, and the dragons, the remaining dragons that actually protected the earth, the remaining dragons captured all of their power into the dragon gem. So the dragon's gem was then protected by the remaining dragon, Shisu. So shout out to the last dragon.
Right.
So I thought, okay, they drew us in early with that.
Yeah.
Then the mask man, protector, takes off his mask, and it's actually her father, who is Chief Benja. And Chief Benja, very much like Moana's dad, is a chief, but the difference here is that Raya is actually a princess.
Right.
So shout out to us having a new princess. Beyond excited about that. She's the princess of the hearts. So essentially, parts of the dragon separated into different tribes, right? And Chief Benja is saying to her, we've got to unify again. She's plotting.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, we know their weaknesses. We can get them. How are we going to lure them in? He said, oh, we're inviting them for dinner.
Right. Well, and all the other tribes feel like the Heart tribe. Let's go through the tribes. So it's the Heart tribe, it's the Fangs,
Mm-hmm.
the Talons, the Spine, and the Tail.
Yes.
They're all tribes. They all fractured once the dragons were gone. So everyone else feels like the Heart, since they have possession of the dragon gem, that they have all the resources and no one else does.
Resources finite. Comment down below if you know that one.
Right.
So then in comes the tribes. And thank you, Disney. I loved the diversity that we're seeing from Northern Asia. I love the fact that the tribes all had different skin shades. You go from pale, kind of like the north, the Russian north, right, to highly melanated as far as the island. So I loved the representation there.
Okay.
What were your thoughts when you met the tribes?
Nothing.
It was giving me Wakanda vibes from the fact of the different tribes symbolize different places.
Leave Wakanda out of this.
Okay, so that's fine. Then it was giving me, Moana vibes. But the thing is that you had, the Spine was from the north, right? So very frigid, very cold.
Mm-hmm.
M'Baku, winter, cold, but I'm chilling. You had the people of the land, and they were giving you desert vibes. The colors were amazing, guys. It just was a sight to see. So that's why I was able to watch it back to back. I haven't done a back to back in a while. So they get together, and then you see two girls. So Raya sees a girl from the Fang clan who looks very much so to be her age, right? So she meets Numari. They kind of go off to the side. Mm-hmm. They eat. Break bread. So Raya's guard is down. They're sitting, they're talking, and Numari has a necklace of Shisu. So it's like they're geeking out, right? It's like if I see somebody with Harry Potter stuff on, I'm like, well, how's she from? What's that you claim? It matters, right? That fandom is that connection that we have with people. Even if by sight we look very different. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was dope. And so then Raya, she does what you're not supposed to do. She feels comfortable. She's happy. She found a friend. And she goes, let me show you something. And then she shows her the dragon's gem. Right.
She was too willing to show her that, in my opinion.
She thought she had met somebody with similar interests, and Numari was very convincing. We've all been there, right? We've all been there with someone who we thought, okay, was just like us, but we realized they were just mimicking us, so it just gets weird.
That's true.
So, immediately as she sees the dragon's gem, Numari changes and goes, oh, thanks so much, kicks Raya down. I loved the physical aspect of this movie.
Yeah.
I loved the...
You know what I loved?
What?
That it wasn't any music. It wasn't a musical.
I have some thoughts on that, guys. So there wasn't any music.
I appreciate it.
So if you're like Ava and Corey, you'll love it. But so then she sets off the flare to notify the Fang tribe. While Chief Benja, and guys, bear with me, I might get the pronunciation wrong, was trying to talk to the chief of the Fangs, who happens to be Numara's mom. Now, I'm going to stop right here. One of the things that Numara said is, we're very similar. We both have we're both single parent. We're both raised by single parents. Mm-hmm. Numara's dad isn't in the picture. And Raya's mom isn't in the picture. Disney, stop killing moms. As a mom, as a Disney mom.
How you know the mom was dead?
I'm shook. I think the dad mentions that the mom is gone.
Well, what about the dad then from the other tribe? Why ain't you got no sympathy for him being dead?
If he ran away from her mom, I understand. So he might be on the run, and I don't blame him. Papa was a Rolling Stone because Fang Mama is interesting. Okay, so all the tribes come in, and they really do show their resentment towards Heart.
Mm-hmm.
You've got all these resources, and Heart is like, huh? Come again?
Yeah.
I just make it look easy. So
Right. I like it.
Then they're fighting, physically fighting over the dragon's gem. And it falls and breaks into pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The earth starts moving under their feet. Right? The sky comes tumbling down.
And then Agatha's magic comes up.
Yeah, and you do see some purple, right? Huge shout out to WandaVision. If you've not seen our reviews, we'll make sure to include the link below there. That was our first level of series review, so we love that.
You know what? Before we go any further, big shout out to Disney Plus too. 2021, they claiming it. They're claiming it's their year. So far, they've been killing the game.
Can we talk about what Disney Plus's 2021 vision board must look like? Besides Vision and Vision of Love. That vision board must look amazing because they are bringing hot fire.
Yeah, they are emerging as the streaming king right now.
Yes. So, I love the fact, so we didn't bring this up, but you see, as Raya is young, you see that she's trying to get away, but her father gets hit with an arrow and he's unable to run as the drones are coming in. So the drones come in, take your spirit, and leave you to stone. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Tuk Tuk, who is a little armadillo.
Yeah.
Is
armadillo-ish.
her road dog, right? And he's just cute. I definitely know that whatever Tuk Tuk merch comes out, Ella will want. If you don't follow us, please be sure to follow us on Instagram. I'm sure we'll be posting Tuk Tuk and Raya stuff.
I think she's going to want the dragon more.
Shisu? Well, yes. I think so too. I think there'll be a lot going on. But, so you see him as a little guy. Raya's like, come on, Dad, come on. And he's like, you are now the keeper of the dragon's gem. Which, by the way, each tribe took a piece of it as it fell apart. Yeah, and that's the only thing that keeps the drones away. But the father gives her the Heart tribe's piece of the dragon's gem. Mm-hmm. And then he turns to stone.
Dusted.
I'm still traumatized from visions. So then, boom, it goes back to where she began 6 years later. And it's her in what looks like the desert as she's searching for something in the tail tribes.
Right. When Numari and Raya was having their little powwow, Numari showed her a map. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's what drawed her into trusting her a little bit. But she showed her the map, and legend has it that the final or the last dragon is hiding at the river's end. But there's a ton of branches off of the river where it ends. So I'm guessing in this 6-year span, she's been everywhere. Searching, yeah. And
can we talk about the Mandalorian vibes I was getting from that scene? It was definitely, even the music in certain parts was very Mandalorian-like. Now, to Corey's point, there's no songs. I'm just talking about the score itself.
Yeah.
So she's in the canyon. She sees the ship is wrecked, which again is giving me Moana vibes. And she sets up a ceremony to pay homage. And I will just say this. I hope Disney got this right. I know that there were a lot of people that were super concerned about how they represented certain traditions, certain Asian traditions in the live action Mulan. If you've not seen our review, me and Corey definitely disagreed. We'll include that.
But I think they kept it real generic. You don't know what region they're actually in. Keep it 100. They show you a map of the area. It's a fictional map. They don't even show you it's an actual what country or what.
Well, it's giving me
continent.
North Asian vibes.
Well, yeah, of course,
right?
but I'm just saying it doesn't tell you that, so there shouldn't be any controversy because they didn't make it like.
But I don't know. I know that a lot of places, just like in Coco, there's a La Fuenda.
Well, that was
an
Mexican
offering.
culture.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that many cultures do an offering for the departed.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying.
I just hope that somebody didn't see it and thought, but it works. She resurrects Shisu. And Shisu is Aquafina. If you've seen Crazy Rich Asians or Jumanji, Crazy Rich Asians, I have not seen. Again, I don't know what it is with me and cult classics. I need to get up on it. But Aquafina brings the energy. Does she remind you of anyone?
No.
She was very Mushu-like to me.
Oh.
So she was giving me Mushu, Eddie Murphy vibes. And remember how Mushu thought he was a dragon?
That's a good thought.
Her colors were very much so Bernie from Frozen 2. So I was getting a mixture of both of them. But she gave like great comic relief. But she also said, she spoke more about the plague. Mm-hmm. And how it was born of human discord and how the dragons tried to unify things. But she then stops and goes, I'm starving. I haven't eaten since breakfast, right? And she's like, listen, Raya's like, that was 500 years ago. Right. And here's some jackfruit jerky. Since we have moved to a primarily plant-based diet, I'm not trying to have the jackfruit slander.
Right.
I love me some jackfruit.
I was like, jackfruit. I was like, jackfruit jerky. Oh, okay. Because I know what jackfruit tastes like when you try to make it like barbecue chicken. That joint banging.
Amazing. So I wasn't here for the jackfruit slander, but I thought it was great. And then you have them still traveling through tail, but who's hot on their tail? But the Fangs, led by a now, late teen adult Numari. So as they're going through, I think this is an Easter egg, the beetle. Okay. Shisu is walking, following Raya, and she sees a beetle, and she's like, this beetle is cute. And she talks about his light up butt, which gave me Ray vibes from Princess and the Frog.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was cute. She was calling them bug booties. I like the bug booties and how they light up. So that's what was giving me that vibe. Numari shows up with her crew on top of mountain lions. Go back to when all the tribes met. I loved seeing in the background the Asian elephant. And I love the detail there with that. But anyway, so she has her mountain lion crew. That's who she rides on with. In attempts to escape, they get on Tuk Tuk, who is now fully grown. Mm-hmm. Tuk Tuk himself is a ride, rolls up in a ball, and they keep moving. And there was a cute line where Raya says to Shisu, do you know what drones and cats have in common? And Shisu's like, they have no soul. Shout out to all our cat lovers out there. Ava's like terrified of cats. Mm-hmm. She says, no, they don't like water. So they go to jump into the water and they end up on Bond's boat. Mm-hmm. Who is, and you have to understand, the drones are coming through very similar to the snap. Like you've probably lost more than half of the population, right?
I'm shocked you didn't compare those to the Death Eaters from Harry Potter.
True. That's actually really good. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I have good
That's really good. Yes, you do. So, they see this little boy, and Bond, and she's like, let me speak to the captain. And he turns around, he does an about face. So, children really watch what you do. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming before his family was stoned, that they ran that restaurant, which is on a boat.
Stoned.
I didn't mean it that way, guys.
Go ahead.
But they must have ran a restaurant because he's trying to serve them shrimp, right? So he's on the water, and then they have to get away. The boat can only go so quickly.
His business had to be good. He was a good...
Oh my God, he was so charming.
Restaurant.
He was so adorable. There were so many great characters in this.
Good restaurant owner.
So Shisu says, or like her intro with Raya, that she is a water dragon. So she goes under and speeds off. Now, guys, one thing that I did forget is when they acquired the stone, the piece of the gem, as they acquired pieces of the gem, Shisu gains powers from her siblings that gave her the gem itself. Mm-hmm. So, one of her siblings, she was a shape shifter. So when Numari sees Shisu, she sees a human, just with blue hair, which I thought the hair was amazing. So
that was after they got the piece from the tail tribe.
Yeah. So she shape shifts again to a dragon, goes under the boat, and speeds off, right? And they're able to get away. I thought he was like great. I thought Bond was great. Now, Numari is like, I have to speak with Chief Varana. She doesn't even call her mom at that part. So she just says Chief Varana. And Chief Varana is voiced by Sandra Oh, Grey's Anatomy. So I love Sandra Oh. And I thought she really played a good, stern role. Mm-hmm. Then there's a part where they start to talk about the family that they lost. And they send the flowers off down the river, which made me think of like lamps down the river. I thought it was a very beautiful scene. Visually, this movie is like amazing.
Yeah, even the animation. I keep saying that about everyone they keep coming out. I know. But it's like, man, like the water looked so official.
This is what I was going to say. Yeah. So you know how like you became mesmerized by the ocean in Moana or the marigolds in Coco? You fall in love with water in a new way because you're seeing it via waterfalls and the river and drops. Like, I don't think I'm going to look at raindrops the same. It was really that good. So then you have them, they're still traveling because she's trying to recover all the pieces of the gem. And so she has the heart, she has the tail, and she acquired another one. So at this point, they're headed to Spine.
No, they're headed to Talon. Gotta pick up the baby. Come on.
That's right.
I know.
Okay, so they're headed to Talon. First of all, can we talk about the beard swag on the Talon chief?
Yo, yeah. I'm going to get that.
I see a bound in Corey's future because that was just crazy. So Talon's town is lit up, a lot of red colors. It was giving me Mulan vibes with the red and the Chinese lanterns and the details. It was just stunning. Yeah. It really was. Mm-hmm. She rolls up and she's kind of like preparing Shisu because at this point, Raya trusts no one, right? She was burned once. Fool me once, fool can't get fooled again. And so she's very distrusting. They get there and she sees the cutest little baby in the world. Mm-hmm. And in comes Noi, a.k.a. Khan Baby. A.k.a. could be a part of Boss Baby's crew.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And Noi is like basically feral, right? She's being raised by her monkey family. Mm-hmm. And, you know, at the time, Raya doesn't realize it, right? But she sees Noi, and then in the cut, off to the side, you see the monkeys waiting. So it's the bait and switch. Mm-hmm. I had the pleasure of spending a few months in Southern Asia, and in my time in India, I remember kind of like the youngest child would come first and then beg, and then you could kind of spot, you know, the older children, and sadly there was adults like running the ring. So they made this a cute spin, but it really is dark when you think about panhandling and like pickpocketers and stuff like that. But Noi was so cute. So then Raya goes, you want to make some honest money? Which, guys, this is a stretch, but it made me think of Beaches. When Bette Midler meets the mom and the mom gives her money and she goes, well, what's this for? And she said, it'll keep you honest. So she says, hey, distract the guards. So Noi does this routine, distracts the guards because Raya is on her way to the Talon chief. She gets there. She thinks it's him. It's a flower guy. He's actually stoned. She says, well, where's the chief?
And meanwhile, she had told, before all of this happened, she told...
Shisu.
Yes, to stay in the boat. Don't get out.
Don't get out.
But she did anyway.
Right. So he says, oh no, he's not the chief anymore. The chief is much meaner. Meanwhile, Shisu meets up with this little old lady and thinks the lady's so charming because Shisu learned a lesson about credit. She tried to get a bunch of stuff from the market and she's like, I got credit. I'm going to put this on credit. There were so many lessons for us modern day in this movie.
Well, the old lady, what kind of
stuck up
vibes
for
was
her.
she giving?
She was giving me Mulan grandma vibes.
So she was giving me Mama Odie vibes, Coco's grandma vibes,
Mama Coco.
and Moana's grandma vibes.
She was giving me Mulan's grandma's vibes from animated Mulan.
Okay. She was looking like all of those grandmas put together.
So one of the things that I say is like the great unifier is that no matter where you're from, there's an age that we hit that we all look alike. Listen, 70 plus, I don't know your nationality. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't.
So as we go along, let me backtrack just a second. So Tail Tribe, they were giving me Moana vibes, right?
Yes.
Even the symbol.
Their melanated skin was like gorgeous.
Yep. Talon Tribe is giving me Mulan vibes.
The Huns.
Yep.
Oh, no. Was it Tail? Or was it Spine that was giving me Huns vibes? It was Spine.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
When we get to Tail, I'll tell you who they were giving me vibes.
Okay.
Of, but I was just backtracking. So far we got Moana in the Tail Tribe. We got Mulan in the Talon Tribe. So now, the chief was dusted already. Now she's like, dang, where's the stone at? And the flower guy must have told her, but he was like, it's a much tougher person.
Yes.
That's what he told her. So she's like, okay, let me go find him.
And walking.
Meanwhile,
yeah,
the dragon is with the chief and don't even know it.
In her human form. So the dragon's Shisu's in her human form. And they're just walking closer and closer. She said, do you want to know where he's at, right? So she's acting like she's showing Shisu where the chief is.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, he's moving further and further away from the water. He likes to live by the edge.
Yeah.
Opens up the gates and you see the drones outside. She gets Shisu outside and says, if you want to come back in, tell me where the rest of the dragon gems are. And Shisu is then outside and the drones are coming, right? Tuk Tuk got you covered though.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Tuk Tuk rolling in with Raya. Raya grabs Shisu. They head to the boat. And who do they see at the boat? But Noi. Noi comes on with the monkeys and they're eating. They're going ham, right? Oh, one thing is that...
how'd they get the stone?
She just snatched it when she was with Tuk Tuk. One thing, Noi... when Raya sees Noi, she goes, where's your family anyway? And one of the monkeys goes like this to kind of show her they turned to stone. And then she's like, okay, I get it. Noi gets on the boat. Now it's time to go because then they've got to now make the journey to Spine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cold. And it's giving you Mulan Hun vibes.
Nope.
What vibes?
Brave.
Really? I could see that.
Vibes.
I could see that too.
So now I got Moana, I got Mulan, and I got Brave.
Yeah. And you've got Princess and the Frog because you definitely said Mama Odie and I definitely said Ray.
Yeah.
So, Spine is very cold and then we hear the gentleman that plays Wong in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And if you have not seen...
I mean, his real name is Wong.
I know, but...
His last name. His last name. Yeah.
If you've not seen our review for Endgame, definitely watch it. Because Wong is... If who all's going to be there was a person. Right? Wong always dips out. So...
He flipped it on you. He's Tong this time.
He's Tong. He plays Tong. And he's the remaining person of the spine. Right? And his thing is fear. You start to see different emotions from each of the different tribes, right? His thing is fear. I'm going to tear you apart. But meanwhile, he's been alone for 6 years, right? Noi comes in, and then they flash to a scene where there's a crib. So you know that he lost his family, one of which was his child. Right? And she's like, no, I'm trying to unify us. Right? She wants to unify. He gets on board. So now the boat is full.
Remember, he had them all tied up.
He had them all tied up. He really didn't know what to do with them. He was pump faking.
Shows up to try to get her.
Numari comes to the gate. Hey, Spines. I don't want you. I just want Raya. She's on the run from the hearts. Bring her here. But in all of them speaking to each other, they realize they want their loved ones back. Right? With that being said, Nori rolls up, and Raya's in trouble. But remember, each piece of the gem, Shisu picks up another trait from her siblings. So she has 2 sisters and 2 brothers. She picks up fog. She switches out of her human form into the dragon. And this is because Raya said, listen, I'm going to hold them off. You guys leave through the back. As they're headed through the back, Shisu sees that Raya's in trouble. And Shisu doesn't listen, guys. Very Mushu-like, right? She says, you leave out the back. She's like, nope, I'm going to show up and show out. And she hits them all with fog. Now, at this point, Numari taps into being young, right? Because she's still a fan. She still admires. So she's, in this mode, she runs to her mother and is like, did you know?
Right.
Shisu is, her mother's not worried about that.
At this point now, I'm getting the running thing. Raya doesn't trust anyone. Shisu trusts everybody.
Outside of the Disney universe, did this movie remind you of anything?
Probably once you tell me.
Trolls World Tour. Where you had Princess Poppy who felt justified. But she was, and we'll include that. Guys, we've been watching movies during quarantine. We'll include that one in the link. But Raya feels justified in her stance, right? Numari feels justified in her stance. She's been raised to take care of her own. Because, guys, lesson here, hate is a learned behavior. So, I mean, it's scary because you see children spew out things. And this running thing was that all the children imitated their parents in some way or the people around them in some way. And Numari is imitating her mother. And her mother's like, I don't care about the other tribes. I only care about us. I care about the Fangs. Now, mind you, the Fangs are surrounded by a moat. Right?
Yeah, which is smart.
And
they built that part.
Yeah, the Droons can't do water, so it made sense. But the mother's like, I'm just worried about us. Where in Numari's heart of hearts, she wants that unity that she remembers in that map. So she's still holding on to that, right? And Raya's not trusting anyone. Shisu's saying that's what got us jammed up in the first place. And is really trying to drive home the message of trusting people. So Numari has a choice to make, right? Because her mom is like, listen, this is what it is. Raya trusts no one. Then there's like their end finale battle scene. And one of the things that, who's the spine guy? What's his name? Tong. One of the things that Tong mentioned is that Raya is consumed right now by rage, anger. So Tong had fear. Raya has anger. Shisu has a certain level of naivete, very similar to like Wanda and Monica from WandaVision, she doesn't realize her own strength and her own gift. Throughout the movie, the entire time, Shisu's saying, I don't know why they chose me. I don't know why my siblings chose me. It could have been any of us. I don't know why they trusted me. Well, you had it all along, my dear. Raya takes a huge leap of faith and says, here are my stones. I'm giving them to you, Numari. Raya turns to stone. And very eager and very willing, Bond grabs her leg and he turns to stone. And Disney, I need you guys to stop. Because the PTSD, the post-Endgame PTSD is real. I can't even look at dust right. I get the shakes. So we have that scene. And then they all give their stones. It becomes one. And it was very Moana-like in the ending.
Everyone turns to dust. Remember that.
Everyone turns to stone.
Stone, dust, whatever.
Dust is a pile. Stone is like this.
I get it.
But then they all come back to life because the stone is unified. Oh. Guys, listen, there will be times in life where you just block things out. Raya still wasn't trusting. I forgot this part, and I can't believe I forgot this part, but I didn't want to remember it. Raya and Numari, they have their big final fight scene. Raya's not trusting at all. In comes Shisu, and Numari is like locked and loaded with her arrow, and Raya is like ready to strike. She doesn't trust Numari, and some commotion ensues. Shisu gets shot in the heart and falls into the water. She saved every one of us. Shout out to Flash, guys. Her death unified everyone, right? So
sort of.
It was she was willing to give herself up. Very similar to what Chairman Fred Hampton said. You can kill the revolutionary, but you cannot kill the revolution. So her death makes Raya say, I'm going to step out on faith. I'm going to give you my piece of the gem. And boom, that's where they all turn to stone. The unification of the gem brings everybody back to life. But then it was giving me to the Heart of Tafiti vibes, right? Everything was coming back to life. Everything was lush and beautiful. And you start to see all of the dragons come out, which was amazing. And there was a unification there.
Yeah. So Fang, I couldn't get a grip on what similarities Fang had to any other movie.
You're going to get upset. But I was getting King T'Chaka vibes. Listen, that's not our problem. We take care of ourselves. But the lesson there is, when you only think about yourself, you will end up by yourself. I mean, we teach the girls all the time that they're global citizens. You have a responsibility. Something you do in this corner of the earth will affect the corner of, the other side of the earth. That's why we travel a lot. Because we want to show our children that we're more alike than we are not alike. Right?
So, going back to that, right? I felt like in the beginning, 500 years ago, the reason why the dragons turn to stone and Shishu did not is because the dragons didn't trust the humans.
And she was so trusting.
And that's why they gave it to her, right?
And she was the youngest.
No, she wasn't the youngest. She had a younger sister.
Oh, she did? Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, the dragons, I don't think, trusted the humans, right, to take care of what was going on. So they gave it to her because they knew that she would find a way to reunite everybody.
So loving, right? And so innocent. So she did trust. And that was a childlike quality almost.
So right off the bat, she trusted Raya. Right off the bat.
And none of the humans trusted anybody. Like, even baby Noi had trust issues.
Yeah.
Right? So just as as the race of humanity, we were garbage. Sounds very similar to now. And Shisu really did have hope and wanted that unification.
So once everyone trusted, once the humans trusted each other.
And worked together.
But they trusted the dragon also, which brought back all the dragons.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's the water inside the ship that sinks the ship, not the water outside, right? Mm-hmm. Overall, I thought it was, before we get into the tire tracks, I thought it was an amazing, amazing movie. But I do have some downsides.
Okay.
My first downside, which is Corey and Ava's upside, is that there was no music. Your girl loves musicals.
Perfect.
I'm glad that Jhené Aiko does the song, but you don't hear the song until the end credits. So I was like, I could have gone for some music.
Kudos Disney. He did great.
I thought Shisu looked very much like Bernie from Frozen 2. But Raya. Now, guys, representation matters. And I think about the princesses that have been coming out and how meaningful they are to children. For me growing up, they didn't have dolls that looked like me. I remember Barbie came out with the Midge doll. I'm telling my age here. Shout out to everybody that remembers Midge. And I had to have the Midge doll because she had freckles. And I had freckles. She was a redhead with very pale complexion, but she had freckles. And I connected with that.
Man, you should have got a Cabbage Patch Kid. They had freckles.
I had Cabbage Patch Kids. Comment down below. I don't remember freckles, but anyway, just let me get back to Midge, right? So I know how important representation was when Princess Tiana came out, when Vanellope came out, when Merida came out, and Moana, although not a princess, came through and crushed the building because there were girls that connected with her, that looked like her, that had hair like her, that had builds like her. And it was so important. I would have liked to see more from Raya. Raya, to me, and feel free to attack me in the comments, it is what it is, but Raya to me was Moana with different clothes on. Mm-hmm. It was frustrating because I think that there was a way to allow her to stand out more.
But how you going to say that when you, at the beginning,
I love the skin tones.
Yeah.
I loved the skin tones. And so I love the fact that they showed the variety of Asia, because if you buy into the stereotypes or whatever, ignorance and, advertisement, you think that Asia, especially Northern Asia, consists of one skin tone. No. There are islanders that are very dark in complexion, that have very curly hair, and, so the features run the gamut. And I think they did a great job with that. Mm-hmm. I think that they could have done more with Raya's features and made her stand out more. Because if you put Raya next to Moana,
I agree.
I feel like that was like my gripe about that.
I agree with you. Like, we do, y'all see behind us, we got the Funkos, right? Funkos are based on one particular look, but they can make it look like the people that they want it to look like, right?
Yes.
Like the eyes are the same, everything's the same, but they can still put enough detail in it, to make it look like the person that they wanted to look like. I wanted... So they did miss the mark on that one. I'll give you that.
Will we be buying Raya merch? Absolutely, because she was a boss. Can we talk about her dad's sword?
That sword was cold.
It was the Swiss Army knives of swords.
That sword
was
cold.
Amazing.
That sword was cold.
It was amazing.
I'm definitely. I'm probably more than likely I'm gonna have a Raya hat.
Listen,
A Raya hat.
Raya's attire, the wardrobes. That's another thing. The wardrobes in this were like top notch live action movie level. I love the details from people's shoes to it was amazing. I just was really frustrated. I wanted Raya to look different. I think that there are still little girls out there looking for representation, and I think they missed the mark on that. Overall, though, will I be watching it again after we're done filming this? And there's not even a song for me to jam out to. I mean, not like like a full soundtrack, and I'm still tuned in. So, overall, how many tire tracks?
I'll give it 3.5 out of 5.
I give it 4 tire tracks. I really did like it. I will be watching it again.
Yeah, I'll give it 4. I'll take that back. Give me 4. Yeah, give me 4.
Speaking of watching, if you've enjoyed watching us and want to see more of the content and what the Rudes are doing, please be sure, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and like this video. But overall, I'm pretty happy. Was it worth the $29.99? Absolutely. Disney Plus, you got me. You're going to keep getting me. I heart you. Any fear of a sequel?
When it went off, I'm like, how could they do a sequel?
Don't. I don't want you to. Guys, if you haven't seen our Coming to America real review, check that out. But don't do a sequel. I think it's beautiful.
Okay.
I think it's amazing. Would I like to see a TV series about the dragons? Of course.
It's coming to a point where they're going to have to get these princesses together and make the Princess Avengers or something.
So the dragons, I love the dragons, and they were giving me Elena of Avalar, Jacqueline vibes.
Oh, hold up. Fangtron could be Elena. Go ahead.
So, again, when I talk about representation, I remember being so thrilled about Elena of Avalar, and I remember when we first saw her at the parks, and Ella lost her mind, she did an episode of Dios de los Muertos. So representation matters. I just wish there was a little more. Will we be watching again? Absolutely. Will you see Ella in Raya stuff? Absolutely. Will you see Corey in Raya stuff? Probably. So guys, it's absolutely a must watch, and you might want to watch it twice or 3 times in a short period, like I'm going to do. Thanks again so much, guys, for tuning in. Let us know what you thought of Raya and the Last Dragon in the links in the comments below. And until the next time, guys.
Keep tripping.
Bye, guys.